Hello friends, thanks for tuning in. Today I want to bring you some great information, key information that's very timely, and it's to address the parole in place program that the President Biden administration recently announced. So I will provide to you some criteria, some benefits, and some recommendations on this parole in place program. So let's get to it. First, let's talk about the purpose of the program. So the program was recommended and it's planned out to help families stay together. So it's to unify families because traditionally individuals have to endure a separation from their families and they have to go overseas, and there's a lot of hardship involved in just processing a residency process through the immigration system. It's complicated, it's difficult, it creates undue hardship. So this parole in place program will alleviate some of that pressure. So what's the criteria? What are the requirements? There are four key criteria, four key components to this parole in place program. We'll talk about each one of those. So the first one is that the individual first entered without inspection to the United States. That is, in other words, to put it simply, they entered illegally. They didn't come in through the right port of entry. They just came in here without the right documents. So this program is intended for those individuals. And why not individuals that entered legally? The reason is that individuals that entered with inspection and with the proper documents, they don't need this program. They can already apply rather efficiently inside the US through a process called adjustment of status. Individuals that enter legally can take benefit of the adjustment of status laws and process fairly straightforward without much complications. So the parole in place is intended for individuals that enter without inspection. That's the first requirement. The second requirement is one of physical presence inside the United States. The individual must show 10 years of physical presence inside the United States. There's a key date that individuals have to pay attention to. The date is June 17th, 2024. The applicant must show 10 years prior to this date, not 10 years prior to any date after that. So again, the individual should obtain evidence with documents with their name and date of 10 years prior to June 17th, 2024. The third requirement is that the applicant is married to a US citizen. They must provide a marriage certificate to reflect a date prior to June 17th, 2024. And I'll bring to your recollection that this program, Parole in Place, was announced June 18th. So the government is putting a cutoff, rightfully so, of June 17th. So any individual married on or before that date will qualify on this third prong, on this third requirement. The fourth requirement is that the applicant does not have any disqualifying crimes. They have to have a lack of a serious criminal history. And this is understandable why the government would not want to put the public at risk for some individual that has a dangerous criminal history, for example. So the government is not saying that an individual with some criminal history would not be eligible, but they're really they're not giving us enough guidance as of yet. I suppose that they will issue more guidance as days come, as the weeks come ahead, and they'll provide us specifically which type of misdemeanors, which felony, if a felony will automatically disqualify you. We're going to get more guidance on this issue. So if you do have a criminal history, one recommendation is for you to obtain police reports and court dispositions and have a qualified immigration lawyer review those before you file. You certainly don't want to put yourself in hot water or in a worse situation that you're already in by filing something that you're obviously not eligible for on its face, and you simply put yourself in the fire without the need to do so. So speak to an immigration lawyer, have the lawyer review your criminal documents. So those are the four criteria. Now, what are the benefits? The benefits to the parole in place is that once it's adjudicated, once it's reviewed and approved, the individual will have the ability to seek a work permit, which is employment authorization. This is key. You'll be able to get a job, obtain a social security, get a driver's license. There's some key benefits there once the parole is approved. And the most obvious and the best benefit will be that it will give you the green light to proceed with an adjustment of status, which is a green card, a residency inside the US. So those great perks. If you qualify if you establish the four criteria, you should definitely consider applying for parole in place. It will be a helpful program. So practical tips for the public is gather your documents. Don't file prematurely. We're getting word that maybe August 19th will be the key date, so that's yet to be determined officially with the federal rules being published. But gather your documents, organize your evidence in an orderly way. If there's criminal history, have an immigration lawyer review that. And consider getting qualified immigration lawyer assistance in this case. Consider not going through individual is not qualified, is not keen to other issues. There may be straightforward, you might meet the requirements on its face, it may appear, but there may be some backdrop issues, complications with your case that somebody who's not experienced would be able to easily, they would not be able to capture or understand some of the backdrop issues that exist. So there's other issues to consider, and you should have qualified immigration legal assistance for this type of case. I wish you the best. If you qualify, it's going to be a great program for individuals to really fast track everything, make things less complicated, less hardship on the family. Best wishes to you. Good luck.